Well, I picked up this BERSA TPRC, which TPR, I don't know what TPR stands for, but I know C stands for um, compact, right? And it's a 9 mil. It's a 13 shot in a magazine, one in a chamber. Basically, it's a pretty damn good concealed weapon for what it is. And I wanted to compare it to the 380 Thunder. I think it's called the Thunder 380 plus. That's what it is. The Thunder 380 plus, which is a double stack magazine. It's got 15 rounds in the magazine, one in a chamber. One thing I like about these weapons is it's got very good safety features. But what's interesting is the main difference between a 9 mil and a 380, not much difference dimensionally, is the weight. The weight of the weapon itself. I'm not sure about the rounds being that much different because you're going to be carrying, you have 13 plus 1 versus 15 plus 1. So I know the 380 rounds are less, but you're carrying 2 more rounds. But, the weapon itself is a little more weight. Interestingly enough, the measurement from here to the end, to this tail, on both of them, same thing. And the height from the top of the slide to the bottom of the magazine is the same, even when you're talking a point of this point. So if you go in here, it's actually less height when you're talking over here on the 9mm version, the 9mm. And these are basically, different weapons somewhat, But what I like about the BERSA is it's got Beretta quality. It's not a Beretta, but it's damn well, it's like the same quality as a really good well-made Beretta. And it feels like a Beretta, which I'm used to. The M9 Beretta, Model 92, thing you use in the military, or 45, it's 2 things I'm used to. So the BERSA, I'm used to it. I'm pretty used to it already. The other thing I like about it, it has a deconker on it. Like, in other words, if you fired a shot and the slide went back, the hammer went back, and you want to put it on safe, you can do this. That's not, it's bringing the hammer down in a safe manner where it's disconnected from the firing pin. It's a decocker feature. In other words, same thing with this. This has the decocker feature, except the safety is a little different. Okay. This is actually a very easy safety to use. This is actually good if you're used to a 45 in a way, if you have locked and cocked, because the position's the same, right? Now, another difference between these 2 weapons as far as safety features is okay, if you have the magazine installed in the 380 plus, whatever you call it, 380, it's a Thunder 380 plus, okay? It's a BERSA Thunder 380 plus. If you have the magazine installed and you take it off safe, it'll fire, right? If you take the magazine out, it disconnects. It's got a magazine disconnect. Some people may or may not like that. That's a very good safe feature, though, because if you have one in the chamber and you want to unload it, say you pull the magazine out and you forget about taking a round out of the chamber, I don't know. It's another fail-safe way whereby if there's no magazine in it, if the magazine just even drop like that, it's not going to fire. So that's another good feature. But some people might not like that, because if you don't have a magazine, you can't use the weapon. You can't pull the slide back, drop one in there, and use it. This one, and he's been safety checked several times already. You have, the magazine's in there. You drop the magazine, it still, fires. It doesn't have a magazine disconnect, which, to me that's fine too, because it's normally the way they are. Very few most of them don't have, the magazine disconnect like that. Now the other thing is, even though these are basically dimensionally the same, the big difference is the weight. I can feel that this is more weight. Now, when you're talking like height, width, and length, the lengths are the same. The height is actually a hair less on a 9 mil, believe it or not. Even the width of the grip is a hair less on the 9 mil versus the 380. But when you're talking about heft, look at you look at the slide. You see the slide? See how bulky this slide is up here? So even though this one is dimensionally height, width, and length or whatever, is about to sit. It's look pretty damn close. I mean, even though the 380 is a hair bigger, the slide is more bulky on this. So I'm not taking it in every single dimension there is. The other thing is, now this is an advantage though too, but it could be an advantage or a disadvantage depending on what you're using it for. You know, you have this, it makes it easier to get out of your holster, right? This, I don't know, could it catch on a holster? I don't know, maybe. Depends on what holster you have. The other thing is, but the other side of this is, you can mount like a little laser light on there, a regular flashlight thing or whatever it is, on the end of this. You can't do that on this. And they both have this lock. You want to lock the weapon up. I don't know about doing that because if you lose that key, I don't know what you're going to be doing. You're going to be taking it back to BERSA before you can have it unlocked. I might be carrying this 9mm, to tell you the truth. I don't know. But, I plan to actually get another BERSA. You see, I'm keeping standardized here. You know why? Because even though these are a little bit different, the way the safety is, they're still very, this one's safety is, they're basically like, they're not much different than, using the Beretta. These feel like the Beretta, even with the double stack. It's amazing. Tell you the truth, this one, maybe because it is, I don't know. This one feels better in the hand. To tell you the truth, I don't know why. That's what it seems, but whatever. It's a little 380. But, I got so much 9mm stuff because I reloaded a lot of stuff for the military brass, laying all over the place, I take the, the 115 grain stuff from Midway to the Jacket Hollow Point, Winchesters, whatever the hell they are. Get some Winchester 231 small pistol primers, and I think I put 4.9 grains of Winchester 231. That's what my load was, right? I loaded up zillions of these things, man. So I could use this thing for basically free because I got a lot of reloaded ammo that I reloaded a few times, and I probably don't want to use the brass anymore, I also had 3 other magazines for this. I got them cheaper, and so I got 5 magazines. That's another good thing. And it would depend on where I'm going if I wanted to carry pistols. Like if I'm out there in the middle of the desert or middle of nowhere, something, I'd rather have the 9mm than a 380. I mean, I'd probably rather have a rifle if I needed it, but hey, mountain lions coming at me, whatever. But if you got a bunch of magazines or something, that's pretty good. It's pretty good. And actually, again, I'm gonna probably get next month maybe. No rush. I'm gonna get a single stack BERSA and 380. It's gonna be about up to there in length, a little less, but it'll be skinnier this way. Be about half that. Well, about 2/3 of this, and it only hold 8+1. And it might be, I don't know if it'll be maybe a 1/4 inch less in height, but it'll be skinnier in the handle mainly. That's the main thing. So it'll be more concealable. Depends on where the hell you're going, because sometimes. But I really regard this as this 9mm, even though it's compact. Basically, it's like a full-size pistol, because 13+1 is pretty. It's pretty. It's pretty robust for capacity, and 9mm is pretty robust. I mean, some people say, no. Well, it is, okay? Yeah, technology. Actually, to tell you the truth, some of the best rounds out there are semi-wad cutters. You hear all this garbage about. I don't want to talk about it too much on YouTube because, I don't know what they want me to say or not, but sometimes the simplest tech, the old semi-wad cutters, there's advantages to using them versus getting all this fancy, I don't know, core lock, freaking whatever. The stuff they sell, they do all the fancy titles on it, the hollow points, the fancy names they put on the hollow points and stuff. A lot of times the old semi-wad cutters are damn good. Plus they feed good too, usually better. Anyway, there's advantages to them because they got, I don't want to say, but there's other advantages to them. Because, we're getting into snowflake territory, with the internet, so we don't want to tell you too much. Anyway, but it's cheaper too. That's the other side of it. But the other side, I like these. I like the BERSAs because, they got a lot of safety features on them. They have a known reputation to be extremely, extremely reliable. And, I like the Beretta 92 or M9, whatever you want to call it. people say, hey, Beretta. Beretta's freaking damn good. So is the 45. You know, that little Colt Commander, that little thing I made, the aluminum frame one, the 1911 with the 9mm, love that thing. Real good. This thing, but this thing's got more capacity. Instead of 9+1, it's got 13+1. Ooh, anyway. And I got extra magazines, so. But I had a feeling that well, I know I was looking up the specs. They were dimensionally the same, but I was feeling the weight. This one is definitely more weight. That's probably because of the slide. And you know, that could be if you're put on your concealed carry belt, it'd probably be going, you'd be feeling like you're freaking carrying a war belt or some shit. You know, maybe I won't be carrying this one. But then again, I like it because it's pretty small, compact, and it's basically like a full-size pistola. You know what I mean? It's basically like a full-size one without having all the full-size garbage. Which, I don't know. I don't like when pistols are real, real small, but I don't like them when they're real big either. You know? You know what I'm saying? I mean, if you're real small, you can't aim them for crap. Because the sight radius is like this big, even if they're accurate, you know what I mean? You're like trying to, but you know, these are in between. They're like, they're good. They got good sights on them too. 3 dots. 3 dot sights. Anyway. So, I'll load this up with some 9mm. Maybe I'll try to wear it, see how it works out, man. But I got a feeling what I'm going to wind up using the most for real concealed carry is the one I'll get in the future, which is a single stack BERSA. A single stack, which is an 8+1. But I did want this because it's very reliable, and it's another sale encouraged by Nancy P. You know what I mean? You know that one? Pretty soon, you know, we'll have the other one, the dancing young congresswoman from freaking Bronx doing this. She'll be encouraging sales too. Anyway, just keep buying them. Anyway, over and out. I should also point out that the 9mm version is very, very, very much like the Beretta. Swear to God. See this? Takedown is like very much like the Beretta. And that's just like the Beretta too. You pull this out. You know, that's just spring in here. Clean your barrel. The other one, the barrel it's like strictly a blowback operation. It's a little bit different. This one, it's a little bit different. It's sort of like, well, it's a lower power caliber. So, anyway, this one is very, very much like a Beretta. And there's no weight in this. All the weight, no weight in this at all. All the weight is in this slide. Heavy slide. Because it's steel, you know. Anyway, it's a good weapon. This is very, very much like a Beretta. This one is for sure. I would probably recommend the 9mm more. You know what the reason is too? Bulk ammo is easier to find. It's cheaper.